This is a longer video than I normally do, just because I think I have a lot on my mind that just need to get out. Um, so for the past year, I've really kind of focused, and really the past 2 years, I've really focused on my physical health, what I eat, and everything, lose some weight, get in a better physical shape. And I think for the most part, I've really done that. But also for the past, especially the past year, I've really, almost with certain people, begged for their attention. And I go with like this universal thing. And it's really like if you do self talk and whatever else, your mind doesn't hear negatives. And so when you say something like, hey, I don't want this to happen, your mind or the universe, however you want to say, it's like if you're speaking outwards, your mind or the universe doesn't hear the negative, and so it's like when you, I don't want to, I don't want this to happen. It doesn't hear the don't, and it says I want this to happen, and so it just kind of like, oh, okay, because it just doesn't hear negatives. We'll just say that your inner thoughts or the universe are positive, like always positive, and so it can't hear negatives. And so when I've asked friends over the past year, whatever, hey, don't ignore me, and I'm sending that message out to the universe is saying, oh, he wants them to ignore him. And so I've reached out and made contact with friends and everything, and sometimes I'm like, oh, did I do it too much, or did I not do it enough, and other things, but and most of the time it just ended up being them being busy, or like one thing or another, and they just weren't there, and I really, it really kind of made me think, especially over the past week, um, or 2 weeks really, that I'm like, am I really where I want to be in life? I'm not necessarily happy at my current job, um, and and I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. And right now, work's really slow, and so I just have time off. Um, but it comes down to like, what do I want for 2024? And 2024, I want to live my life where I don't complain anymore. I've been complaining too much over the past year. Why don't they do this? Why don't we have that? Why don't? And I still like try to find answers, but I kind of feel I became like with certain people that complainer, and and I got really negative. Like really, like last week I was really negative. It came off partially because I finished my half marathon, came back home, and I was talking to some work colleagues, and I got really not like dark, but just negative, and I realized that it wasn't good, and I looked it up, and part of it was like there's a typical athlete type of thing where you finish a big event. Olympic athletes get it, everybody gets it, or a lot of people get it, where you kind of have a slump after you've done all the training and you go into a dark mode. And anyway, and it got me thinking about how I want to change my life and my outlook, and how I look at things. And so it's really like I'm going to have my time, but it'll be alone time to get my gripes out. Um, and part of that is and I'm giving this message just in hopes of, if anybody else out there really needs this, I hope helps you find some answers. And but it comes down to like on Sundays I do a drive, and I used to do it all the time with my mom, and we would go to my dad's grave. Since my mom died a year and a half ago, um, I still every once in a while still do that drive, and I did that drive this past Sunday, and I went and I vented to my parents at the grave. Um, and and I came up with a bunch of answers for me in a direction that I want to go. That's very much a more personal type of thing. Um, and 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 I'll give some of those things. Um, I kind of I'm a September birthday. It means I'm a Virgo. And then if you get into astrology, it calls a hermit. A lot of the time, the hermit mode, as I call it, you just kind of go within. And I think all of us can do that in some way. Some of us are more extroverted than others, but I'll go like hermit mode really well. Um, and so I feel like I want to just go hermit mode and start doing my things. Stop asking for praise. Stop asking for attention. Stop asking for people to love me in a way. Um, and find stuff that I truly enjoy doing. And do that because I love doing it or because I enjoy the challenge of it. Um, and it's one I'm still going to run because I have found such a love of running over the past 2 years. I always knew I liked it. And so I know running is not for everybody. But having an activity that you can strain yourself just a little bit, just enough that you feel accomplished afterwards. And so it might not be running for you, but it could I'm sorry, it could be, a basketball game. You could love basketball, you could love football. It could be that you go golfing and you don't get a cart, and so you walk 18 holes. It's great for you. You can get out. Find something you can do in the summer and the winter. Depending on where you are, certain weather might be not be great for what you want to do. You might love skiing, but summertime's not great for that. So you might have two separate things, but something that you can continually do. But also that's the physical side, and that's really what I worked on. And like I said, that running has really been a therapy where I feel good about myself after running. There's other parts of my life I do not feel great about myself, and I want to fix that. And so it comes down to I want more out of life, and I want an abundance of life, and I want people to want to be with me, and 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 I want to stop asking for attention. And so it's Sundays I will go and do my gripes to my parents and work through my problems with them, um, and really come up with some answers. And then on my runs during the week, I can kind of refine some things and refine some thoughts. But a lot of times it's my thoughts go to my running. And so the Sunday is going to be really that time that I'm really working on myself and my mental side, my inner self. Um, And so it's I'm going to do that, and there's things that I want to do, like little things to study, little things to work on, little things to do throughout the week. And I look at it as, and I go further into it like this life of abundance. Most of us think of abundance like, oh, somebody has a lot of money, and it can be a good example. Like, the people that always have people wanting their attention is somebody with money, somebody with an abundance of money. Whether it's, oh, hey, can you give me money? Or, oh, hey, I'll come hang out with you. Usually because they end up being willing to pay. Um, but it doesn't have to be money. Um, and abundance in part of your life. And for me, abundance in any part of my life that I am creating stuff and I'm building something that is worthwhile to me. Um, and that's what I would really love to see more in the world is people doing stuff that is building something worthwhile to them, creating tools and everything that they can utilize to better their lives and hopefully better the lives of those around them. Um, and and it doesn't matter if you have a lot of money or whatever. And I've found a lot of times having a lot of money doesn't necessarily mean you're really good at something. It just means you picked a really good industry to get into. Um, doctors always get paid a lot, even though, like, I've met doctors that would have a hard time and a lot of other things that a lot of us are really good at. Um, and, um, and so money gets you so far in meaning of life because money doesn't give you that great meaning in life. It can help you get there, but there's a lot of miserable poor people. And so I'm looking for abundance of my life that will also, with it, in turn, bring in people that bring more meaning into my life. Um, and yeah, and so that's what I'm looking for. And it's really a self growth, but it's me stopping complaining, me stopping getting into a negative mode, me stopping doing things that I'm not proud of, or that that it's not my thing that I want to do. And so that's what I'm moving towards, and I hope this comes across right to a lot of people. But I'm really hoping a life of abundance for people out there and for myself. I want so much more out of this life, and I know so many other people do. And I think we just get stuck in the common day to day lies that we tell ourselves and that we tell others. I'm okay. Well, most of us aren't okay. We want more, and we know more's out there. And so don't ask somebody else to do it for you. Create it yourself, because then you're going to be happy that not only you learned how to create it, but that you, um, well, not only that you created it, but you learned how to create it. And so, um, I say, I hope this comes across right, and I hope everybody is doing well, and wish you all well, and I will try to be back on here soon.